Hello, it's Lorraine here and welcome to Pocket Pops, which is session 6 of our GoGo Getaway cyber style retreat. So here are all the lovely embellishments, the papers, the inks, and a quick look for those lovely alphabet we're going to be using. It's all in your kit to use. It's that lovely Cocoa Vanilla Dream. So just taking off the manufacturer strips here. So this class is all about making a really lovely, highly embellished pocket embellishment for your page. So here I'm just taking that lovely rainbow paper, taking the scissors to that, cutting those 3 rainbow rays out. And there they all are. I haven't made you watch them all the way through. Quickly going around with my paper distresser, giving them a bit more texture. These are so lovely. You'll see that I've left the largest one, the 4th one, intact. We're not going to use that as a rainbow ray on this class. We're going to make use of that lovely paper, the other side of that, the wood grain, for part of the pocket. But at the moment we're keeping the rest of it quite simple, so this pocket pop really does pop. Yeah, so that these pieces of the rainbow don't just lay flat, we're just distressing all of those edges. And there they are. You can see I left the little hearts on. I actually don't leave them uncovered in how I carry on the layout and the final layout. But for now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with those, so I left them on and fussy cut them out. So there we go, just sticking them back down in the same format as what they were originally on that piece of paper, the lovely Daydream paper. So just each one of them, just put some tape on and positioning them exactly the same. It's such a beautiful paper. So there they are, all ready on my page. Just curling the edges up a little bit, again a bit more definition. Just going around just gently with my finger to do that. Those colours are lovely, that pink, yellow and blue together. There, and I'm happy with that, so I've put that aside and I'm going to move on to the pocket part of this class, which is the technique. So I'm just cutting off a section there with the brown wood grain side facing, and then from a half of the sheet of that Daydream with the yellow there on the back, and it's got the raindrops on the other side. All the measurements are there in your printed instructions. And here I'm just thinking about the size of the pocket, how it's going to fold, and also being quite frugal with that paper to make the best of that, use of that later on for layering. So you can see that wood grain is the background that will hold that pocket, almost like a photo mount but for the pocket. And that brown wood grain will make it stand out from the rest of the layout. So I folded that piece with the raindrops on the inside, got a wiggly line just freehand to the top there that I'm cutting out. Then again on the next section, which is the folded section. So there's layers of that, rather than a blunt straight edge, it's a soft doodled wave. Just add a little bit more off the top there, so more of that brown is showing even all the way around. Yeah, and I'm happy with that, how that looks. And I'm thinking that the raindrops, I don't really want to show on the top of that. So I'm just utilising a little piece of that white off the top part of that section. And there it is, tucked in. Just tracing around the top of that so it's got the same shape. And then just sticking that, covering those raindrops at the top. That leaves quite a nice blank canvas of that background for when we tuck the lovely elements in shortly. So now I'm thinking about where I would like the pocket to go, and thinking of other layers and what's going to be best to add to this. I have lots of ideas in my head at this point of how I would like it to look, the colours I'd like to bring in. So just experimenting with those ideas here. So I decided I'd like this pocket to almost have like a waterfall effect. So the big main pocket, and then a further 2 pockets. So that's what I'm coming in with here. There's another shallower pocket tiered on top of that. And I'm thinking, no, do I want it more towards the top? I'm sort of making another fold there, so you've got like that double scored edge to just add a bit more opening space to tuck things in, really, when we get to that part. And there, thinking of what I'd like the 3 tiers on the front to look like. So at this point I'm thinking the yellow, then the pink with the hearts, and then leading on to the raindrops at the bottom would be the best way to go. So I think I'm ready to commit to that. I've decided to go for the red tape just down the edges there, and on the bottom, obviously not the top because it's a pocket. And I wanted to use that red tape because if I'm going to be tucking chunkier things inside this, then I do not want that to come unstuck. So there it goes on the top there, and I'm happy with that extra pocket. So I'm going to commit to actually sticking down the main part of that pocket. Just down the side, so it's leaving that double scored edge at the bottom for fitting in more things. Yeah, just make it nice and flat. Sorry it's a little bit angled off camera, that part, but hopefully you can still tell from that, and along with your instructions to support. So I'm really happy with how that's looking. It's really cute. Decided to add just a bit of definition around the edges with that lovely Heidi Swap chalk ink. Bit of distressing to that wood grain mount. And now I'm thinking, okay, so how am I going to attach this and make it a real feature? What does it need? And ta-da! As if by magic, we've got some stitching with that pink embroidery thread. So here I am with my photo, a real fun, quirky photo to go with these papers as an idea. And I really love the stamps, especially the little jumper. I'm thinking that's cozy, like the pictures I've got, the photo I've got of my daughter and granddaughter doing silly Snapchat filters. They're all cozied up there. They've also got like a icon of a mug, I think it is, on that Snapchat filter. So I'm using that really cute little hot chocolate or coffee mug that's in the stamp set too. So I'm just using the white of the top half of that rainbow paper to stamp on. And I'm stamping on there in a light grey. I wanted that to be quite a defined image. So I didn't use one of the chalk inks in the kit to do that. I used one off our basic tool list. So just fussy cutting those little elements out. So I'm thinking they're really cute, I really want to use them, but they're a bit white. So I'm using the chalk ink and a water pen. So just to add a little bit of that pink. I don't make it look too neat, I want it to look sort of shaded in different areas. And then I do the same with the coffee mug as well. Just to make them pop when they're in that little pocket. And there they are. Really cute little mini jumper and a little mug. And I'm thinking they're tucking quite cute there. I'm not quite sure quite what I'm going to do with them yet. So I'm moving along here to how I'm going to position my photo and the pocket. They have a little bit of a dance here, and I think a bit, and I think, yep, I'm going to go for it. I've actually put some 3D foam behind that pocket, again to help that sort of puff out, stand out from the layout. So I'm thinking about what's going to go in this pocket. I love the idea of a pocket for putting in some hidden journaling, and the way this can be interactive. So I'm coming up here with making a little card, a little journal card that can pull in and out. Can have some hidden journaling as well as, you know, perhaps some journaling that's peeping from the top that you'd like to still see. I'm thinking that maybe a bit too wide, so just trim a little bit off, re-ink that edge, pop that back in, and I'm happy with the definition of that now, the size of that. But I'm thinking it needs maybe something else going on it. So here I am cutting out another piece of little scrap paper there of the wood grain. And I'm deciding actually in the end to use that to cut white strips from, to add on top of that raindrop paper. It's like little journaling strips. So there they are on there, just 4 little strips. Perfect size to add some journaling on. So I'm happy with that, so they're going to be stuck to that little card. This little card has nothing on the reverse of it on my layout, but it'd be great for adding another little photo if you wanted to add another photo. So there they go, stuck down there. And just to make that a really nice place to add journaling, in a moment I decide to add some penwork lines. First a little tab from that Cocoa Vanilla embellishments, that little tab, add to the top again with red tape so it's nice and secure. And that helps you just pull that in and out of that little pocket. I think it's a really lovely little added touch as well, because I think it's almost like a little thing that says, hey, you can pull this little tag out and read. So I'm having a think here, or known as a faffing around really, of how I want to decorate this embellished pocket. I know I want to add lots of interest, lots of layers. I think here about cutting a strip of that remnant of the pink, the largest pink rainbow ray. I think about how I can add some more texture, so I pleat it. And the idea first here, I thought I could have almost like a ribbon running across, but decide that's too chunky, it's too straight, so I use it to add almost like a trim to the top of this rainbow ephemera. I'm using the tape there. I think, yep, I'm really liking that, but it might be a bit wide, so I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. Yep, that fits around there. So I just go along, gather it up, concertina it up, follow roughly where the little pleats were, until I'm happy with that as a little trim around that edge. I think it's really cute. It just helps make that rainbow stand out a bit more. So just making it even. Pause for thinking there. There's so many lovely different embellishments to use. I'm adding a bit of foam on the back of that rainbow. Just cutting it, trimming it there, so it's the same size. Yeah, I'm really happy with that rainbow. That looks super cute. Decide to just offset it. You'll see in a moment how I come in with the double-sided tape to stick that down. And I think, yeah, for just overhanging that edge, that helps bring the pocket and the rainbow of the back joined together. So I've got a little house there. It looks like a little schoolhouse is what I thought it looked like. Maybe a little schoolhouse or church. I actually trimmed off the white around that die cut. And I decided I'd like that little house under the rainbow. And here I try lots of different extra little bits around the bottom, what I'd like to add to that, what I'd like to add to the cluster without overwhelming it. There comes the pen work. So just making a very thin line around each of those text boxes. I like that idea. Playing around with which one that fits in best. You can see there now I've sort of jumped forward, I've added a flower at the top, I've added the jumper, I've added the little mug. Playing here with that little journal strip. It doesn't end up being there, but you've got plenty of these embellishments to play with. So really sorry for the short end, abrupt end to my process video. A section of it disappeared. So I'm coming back here with the final picture of my layout, so you can see the things that I've added afterwards. So you can see really clearly the little gems I have added over the top part of that pink rainbow, some fussy cut hearts from the paper on to add interest to that top rainbow. I've also tucked in some ephemera pieces. You can see really clearly which they are there from the Cocoa Vanilla ephemera pack. And they're tucked to under that photo with that little strip of Our Happy Place, that lovely little rosebud. And then to the pocket underneath we've got some of the leaf vines, the blossom, a couple of little gems to the side there, and that lovely little paper rosebud within that pocket too. So for the title I've used from the exclusive die cut words, I've used Little Moments. I've trimmed some of the white off and back that on a remnant of the wood grain paper facing, and then a blossom underneath that from the die cut pack that really helps that sort of stand out and actually then covers up those 3 blue hearts. The blue, although I loved that, I really loved how they sort of hung off the edges of those rainbow rays, but it didn't really work with my photos. So yes, finally on the page you can see to the top left by the photo and the bottom right under that cluster of the pocket, I've added with the little stamps, the 2 hearts together, with the pink ink. Yes, so that is my class pocket pops. I really hope you've enjoyed spending time making this with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing your interpretations and your finished layouts. So don't forget to share them within the albums. Yeah, well, thank you. And yeah, see you over in the group in the rooms.